on the album, All I Need Is You, like you said. People are loving it. And this is inspired by your relationship with your wife. Tell me a little bit about the story behind this one.
Well, she's hot, and I was looking at her.
She is. I love her.
She is.
Hey friends, it's your girl, Emily Curl, and we have something exciting for you. We are hanging out with country artist Chris Janson, and we're celebrating his new album, The Outlaw Side of Me. Chris, it's so nice to see you again, especially under these circumstances. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you taking the time, and big thanks to iHeart for this. This is a dream come true for me to be doing an album release with you guys, and we're here in beautiful Los Angeles at the beautiful iHeart Theater, and I gotta tell you, like, it has just been fantastic from start to finish, and looking forward to celebrating this album with everybody. And you know, I'm an iHeart guy from way back. I mean, you guys jump started me. You know, I was an On the Verge guy. Buy Me a Boat being an iHeartRadio Song of the Year.
Of course.
So pretty stoked about it. Thank you.
This is so cool. I mean, the last time that we got to chat, I think you were in your home. Are you in Tennessee? You're based in Tennessee?
Yeah. I was in my kitchen on the computer.
You were?
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
It's just wild to see the progression. Now you're at our iHeart Theater, which is just so cool. And you know, we were just saying right before this album is something that you're like the most proud of. Tell me about this process and the album and full.
Well, thank you. I am the most proud of this one by far. You know, it's my biggest studio album to date, and of course I had a hand in writing all of the songs, but this time I did some things different. I turned the reins over to an actual producer, Julian Raymond, who is awesome and just did a wonderful job. I have an enormously amazing team. You know, of course, that starts right at home. The same kitchen that I did in my first interview with you a while back, like literally about 2 feet over is the kitchen table where me and Kelly sat and went through songs, and then we just give them to the greater team, which is the record label, and everything kind of goes into motion. It was the fastest album we've ever put together. We recorded in 2 days back to back, and 6 on 7. And by the time we were done, it was like, whoa, it was kind of bittersweet, you know, because we were really having such a good time. We booked a whole week to record the album, record in 2 days, and then we just sit and twiddled our thumbs and just went, okay, well, we got it, we love it, and The Outlaw Side of Me was born. Even though All I Need Is You was doing so well, The Outlaw Side of Me was always one of my favorites from the very beginning. I remember writing it. I remember the first people I played it for. I was on a boat, actually, ironically, in South Georgia with Kelly, the kids, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and my aunt and uncle. And my Uncle Mance was like puffing a cigar, and he was like, that song right there, that's got to be on the next album, promise me. And it is. And now
so he knew.
He knew.
Wow. I want to go back for a second. I can't get over that you recorded it in 2 days.
Yep.
Paint the picture for me. What is it like in that recording studio? Who was in there with you? You know, what was the vibes like? What were you sipping on? What were you singing? Like, paint the picture of what that looked like.
You know, I'm just crushing sodas all day and just crushing water and tea and stuff. I'm sort of a man of few needs, and I don't really do anything really extravagant. I mean, I want to get the work done as fast as I can so I can go fishing, you know, and also like at 3 o'clock, I got to pick my kids up. So living a pretty wholesome lifestyle outside of the music business, you know. And anyway, it starts off, we get there early. We pre-production prep, basically. We flew some players in from Los Angeles, one of those being Victor Andrizo. He's an amazing drummer, played for gazillions of very famous people. And it was my first time really working an actual session with him. And so forever from here on out, I hope he'll play for me, because it was really incredible. So it was different for me in the regard that we didn't just use the same old protocol, you know, that maybe like if you live in LA, you know, you would use the normal typical thing you normally do, or if you live in Nashville, you kind of just go by that system. But it was very unconventional, and I'm an unconventional person, which totally goes hand in hand with the Outlaw Side of Me and the whole mantra of it, and just the words, you know, and what they mean and what they stand for. It's just cutting your own path and doing it your own way, and it's really paying off big. I'm grateful for that, and I've always just written my own songs, sing my own songs. Most important thing for me is, you know, getting onto the radio, thanks to iHeartRadio, which is my biggest way to get to the fans, and the fans have always paved the way for me, so it's a great honor.
I want to take a moment too, Chris, which I think this is so interesting. I just learned this about you, and I want to go back to music for a second, but you're wearing the Bass Pro hat, and you're an avid outdoorsman and a conservationist. And in fact, you've been awarded for your conservation, which I did not know this about you. It's just so cool. Why is that important to you?
My best friend is my wife, but I got another, you know, everybody's got their best buddy, right?
Of course.
And outside of my kids and stuff, my best buddy's name is Johnny Morris. He created and invented Bass Pro Shops. And we've been working together and been friends more so for years, and we decided we would do a hat together with my logos on the side.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Oh,
So
yeah. It's so cool.
Logos.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you go online, you can order them, and all the money goes back into conservation charities, which is cleaning up the rivers and streams, getting kids back into the outdoors. That's a big one. I think the most important one, though, is we've been able to, with wild harvested game, we've been able to give it back through the right processors and the right people in distribution for free, totally for free, to people who need it, whether that be homeless or just underprivileged or whatever you may be. If you need it, we're getting it and we're providing it, no charge. And it's all because of the proceeds of the hat, which has been really big. And I love to hunt and fish, but it goes so much further than that for me. It's like we got to leave this earth better than we found it. There's many great conservationists in the world. I'm just a small part, and just trying to play my part the best I can, using music and my stage and my platform to speak about it, which I really appreciate you bringing up.
That's so cool. Like you said, to tie in something that you love to your music, which is just as important. So you mentioned this is your best buddy, but you also talk about your best friend. So let's go back to the music for a second, because on the album, All I Need Is You, like you said, people are loving it. And this is inspired by your relationship with your wife. Tell me a little bit about the story behind this one.
Well, she's hot, and I was looking at her.
She is. I love her.
She is. So I was looking at her. This is the truth. I was sitting, if this were the chair, where you would be sitting in front of me would be the ocean, which is what I was viewing off the back deck of our house during the pandemic. So it was an awkward time to make music, because all you could really do was write it, because you couldn't go out and play it anywhere really, because everything was just in that weird space. And she was in the house. I caught a glimpse of her. All I Need Is You was born out of that, just seeing her inside. And we had driven the beach house down on 38, taking a trip in a Chevrolet. We had driven a Suburban to the beach, so I was like, well, we'll put that in there. And then we're in love, and it's like, let's write a love song. At first, even the melody was different, but how you hear it now, the master track, what you hear on the radio, is what I always envisioned in my head. And so the song was written really quickly. And when you're co-writing with people that aren't in the room with you, you got to understand everybody's kind of hitting mute for a second, kind of doing their own thing, piecing together what they think. And then we all unmute, and then we just kind of flush it all together and see what happens. And that's basically how the song was written. Very unique style of writing, but I actually kind of prefer it because...
Wow, yeah, it's so interesting.
Number one, it's a lot quicker. Number two, it's like you can just sort of do your own thing. And there's not a lot of chitter chatter that goes back and forth. We're just there for a mission. Let's get the song written. We probably wrote it in like an hour and a half. And we just wrote about real life. And real life is what connects with people, And so All I Need Is You is my fastest rising single to date in my career. I love playing the song live. Unlike, sometimes in the past, like I could admit without naming names, like there are some songs that I'm just like, oh, okay. But this song I really like playing.
Without naming names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wrote them, but everybody will tell you, if they're telling the truth, there are some you get tired of more than others. But All I Need Is You is it's to me, it's like a timeless classic kind of song.
Can I also talk about one of my other favorites on the album is 21 Forever, that features two icons, Dolly Parton and Slash, tell me about this collab, how this came to be.
If you don't dream big, you don't win big. That's the number one thing. And if you don't reach for the biggest stars in the world, well, I mean, you're never going to reach them.
You're not going to get them, yeah.
Right, so you may as well make the ask. And when we wrote 21 Forever, I'd always envisioned, again, I follow my heart, my gut, and just kind of, when I write songs, I write them in sort of a movie script in my head, so I always visualize what the song could be before I even really record it. And so I always visioned...
You just have how it's going to play out for you?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I always envisioned Dolly singing on this. That would be really cool and sort of mystical, I guess, whatever. It was just a thought at the moment. And it always reminded me of November Rain, Guns N' Roses, which is one of my favorite songs of all time. So I thought, man, how cool would it be to get Slash, walking out in front of that iconic church in the desert playing a big November Rain solo on this song. And I mean, just what I think. And people always in my life, they've always been like, oh man, you think awful big, It's like, well, guess what? If you don't think awful big, like, who else is going to think for you? So Julian, my producer, goes back to him. He reached out to Dolly's camp, to Dolly, and would you do a duet with Chris Janson? To which she said yes. And then we reached out to Slash and his camp, and would you play on this Chris Janson record? And he said yes. And as a matter of fact, they each asked, like, what would you like? How would you like it? And I'm like, I don't even care. You're Dolly Parton. You sing like
really? Wow.
Please just sing like you want to. And like a guy like Slash, man, he's like, to me, he's the most iconic guitar player of all time. And I said, why don't you just play November Rain 2.0? And that's exactly what we got, which was unbelievable. I was sitting in a Mexican restaurant eating chips and salsa with my kids and Kelly and the family. and the mix popped into my inbox. I stepped out, seriously, I stepped outside in Tennessee and I listened to it and I came back in and I was like, this is about to blow y'all's minds. So
did you play it for the family? What did the family say?
Absolutely, right there at the restaurant, held it kind of inside of a cup so we could get a better speaker, It's an unbelievable thing to me, but in the same regard, it's not unbelievable. It's because I believed it from the beginning.
And you worked hard for it too, Chris. That's another thing. You worked really hard.
Thank you. I just figured, what's the worst that could happen ever with people? So for people out there watching that may be aspiring to greater things in life, I want to say this. All you can do is ask, right? All you can do is be humble and ask and believe in yourself, because 99% of the chance they might say yes. I mean, who knows? Who cares, right? What's the worst that could happen? They're like, nah, okay, no big deal. Just move on to the next thing and get on with life. But thankfully, they said yes, and I'm forever grateful to the two biggest icons that you don't even have to see a picture. All you got to see a silhouette of Dolly or Slash, and you're like, boom, boom, I know who that is.
So in that same vein, Chris, are you still dreaming? Like, do you still have like goals and things you're always thinking of?
I mean, musically speaking,
or even personally speaking, now I'm invested.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Just a couple things off the top of my head, right here off the cuff. I hope to wake up in the morning. I hope to get home safe tonight. I hope that my kids are healthy tomorrow. I hope that Kelly looks at me tomorrow and goes, oh, he's good looking. I hope she's liking me as much as she is today, tomorrow. As long as my priorities at home are great, then I'm happy. Every dream I ever had on and off script, it's happened. But it didn't happen without hard work. You're right. A lot of prayer. Yeah. And honestly, you have to believe it. I'm a big believer in speaking it into existence. And I'm not trying to be hokey pokey. I'm just saying that that's just always how I've been. I grew up in a trailer park. We didn't have a whole lot. And so I always aspired to something bigger. Started with a dream, and music has definitely been the catalyst for that. And iHeartRadio changed our life. I mean, without buying me a boat, we would not be here. That was jump-started, just impromptu, no planning by iHeartCountry and iHeartRadio. And
Chris, you make it so easy for us. I will say that. You make it so easy for us to support you. Another thing I'll add to that I love about that entire thing you just said is you can just tell that you're overflowing with gratitude. And I think that's another key that you can't forget. It's you got to have the gratitude, and you do. And then that you appreciate everything.
I do. I have a heart full of gratitude. I mean, for as long as I've had a successful career, and even before it was successful, we wanted to do an album event with iHeart. We wanted to do this. What we're doing, we wanted to do. This was the one thing that we wanted to do. And we're getting to do it. So when someone asked me next, what was the last moment you had where you knew you made it? This is it. I walked into the studio today and I looked at the short list of people who got to do this before, and I'm like, this is a big deal.
So tonight, what are you most excited to play live from the new album? Maybe that you haven't played before.
All of them, but I think for sure the single, All I Need Is You. But Outlaw Side of Me, I got to tell you, again, I like playing that song. And even if it wasn't on the album, I'd still be playing it.
I love it. Chris, enjoy tonight. I hope you soak up every single moment. Thank you so much for sharing your talents with us. And we're always so excited to get to talk to you. So congratulations again. Thank you for this album. And I hope you enjoy tonight.
I enjoy it. Thank you so much.